Now we got something that's kind of funny.
Okay.
No,
We're going to come off like pricks if we don't explain
But
this.
before you even start this, there's this video on CGTN, which is the Chinese mouthpiece of like every outlet.
Yeah,
and
it's the English rebrand. So this, can I say something real quick? CCTV is the Chinese TV network, but it got such a bad like people knew what CCTV was in the West because of how like much propaganda is being spewed. So then they switched it to CGTN.
Don't you think it's hilarious that the official television network is pretty much closed circuit television? They're spying you. Yeah, it is. It is. It's ridiculous anyway. But CGTN put out this fluff piece about how progressive these buildings are, these Chinese apartments, how green they are. Look at this.
You guys can watch the video.
Yeah, you guys can go find the video. But it's one of those fluff pieces. It's just showing you how progressive China is.
Well, I don't want to be the Grinch, right? So this has been done in other countries, right? And they've done it in Singapore. But it's taking so much architecture and like expertise because they have to get the plants not to grow within in between the cracks of the cement. Yeah. They have to make sure that the plants are not invasive or burrowing plants, right? Sure. They have to make sure that they're always maintained.
Yeah, the hydroponics has to be correct because you don't want to, it's also about pest control things.
Correct,
like that.
Pest control. So they did pull it off. And there are buildings, I think it's is it a bank? It's either a bank or an embassy or something in Singapore that famously has all these plants all over it. So, long story short, when I saw this, I didn't want to be a Grinch. I'm like, okay, China's doing this thing. China's trying to pull this whole, like, we're so green initiative. We're going to be carbon free. Meanwhile, they're like, just
the carbon full.
Just next time you can, just go have a look around. Try to get outside of the main part of the city. You'll see. Yeah. In literally any province. Yeah. It's a toxic wasteland in many parts.
It certainly is. 70% of arable land has been contaminated, and rivers too.
And that's official data.
Yeah, from China.
Dude.
It's battery dirt, we call it.
Battery
soil.
Battery dirt. It's like if you buried a bunch of batteries for 100 years in your backyard, that's what the soil is becoming.
Because they did. They end up, all the waste from all the e-bikes and stuff, they just end up burying that
The nickel-cadmium batteries have destroyed the soil and potable water.
Lead acid, everything.
Anyway, long story short, they tried to emulate this whole Singapore thing, and I didn't want to be a Grinch. I didn't want to be like, this is bull, but let me read to you.
Yeah, you've got some of the comments, right?
So you guys know the concept called chapatua, right?
Yeah.
Chapatua means half-assed or just good enough, right?
Right.
Now, chapatua, you leave the image up so people can get an idea of how it
Yeah.
Chapatua just means half-assed. And we know, when I saw this video from CGTN, if they have to highlight it, I was like, this is going to be the most half-assed Chapatua thing I've ever seen in my life. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. However, here's a quote that a Redditor had translated, I believe. A few owners have moved in whilst many... I'm talking about the buildings here. These are apartments.
Yeah.
Few owners have moved in whilst many others are still under renovation. Some Redditors have posted stories about these buildings being infested with mosquitoes, having mold and water leakage problems. It's nothing new to Chinese buildings. And no one wants to move into them. Of course, after these posts, there will be some Wu Mao posting Global Times videos of how harmonious and amazing these apartments are. And that's exactly what happened. So you go on the Chinese internet, and people were actually talking about this on Weibo.
Yeah.
And it's basically a mosquito storm.
Of course.
It's leaking everywhere, and then people, like, it was used as a propaganda piece. These huge buildings, this massive block. Nobody wants to move
Nobody wants to move in. I'm going to tell you, in all of the apartment blocks that I lived in Shenzhen, the three sort of more swanky ones that I lived in, all three of them were sold with these water features.
Right.
Okay. My first one, there was like a third level, which had these like really nice little pool, like pond water features with bridges going over it and stuff.
Always.
Anyway, that lasted for about a year because, everyone was complaining about all the mosquitoes. Because you have to understand, it's very humid and hot down south. So you get huge amounts of mosquitoes. So they actually drained them and just left them open dry then.
You remember my parents-in-law place? They had that open for exactly a year. Yeah. It all turned to ruin, drained it.
Yeah, because you just need like one cycle, one summer where the mosquitoes breed, and all the local like people living there like get rid of this crap because they don't know how to control it properly.
Sure.
Then I moved to a place in Buji, which was Yingyue.
It's definitely not a Buji place.
Yeah. No. Anyway, it was kind of a nice garden type place. It had a lot of garden, a lot of green stuff. They also had a lot of these pools and ponds and things. They had to drain all of those too.
Right.
And then my wife actually bought an apartment It's, her first apartment, which she still owns, and she rents out. She bought this apartment in this nice brand new thing that they built. Again, they had these nice like little ponds and lakes, like little mini lakes, I guess, rivers, whatever you want to call it.
Sure, yeah, you're not very good with bodies of water.
No, I'm not. These little lake river things, okay, whatever. These little streams that kind of went along the walkways and stuff.
Right.
And they too, because they're left stagnant because they don't want to waste money on running the pumps and stuff. And so obviously mosquitoes bred. Now they're all drained as well. So it's all about knowing how to maintain this stuff. And all real estate in China, real estate things start with a gimmick to bring people in, and then it all falls apart.
It's like speakers in the shape of rocks, pumping classical Beethoven.
Yeah.
And then you go and see the water features, and they're like, this could be a pool, it could be a fish pond. Someone in the comments here, they're a little know-it-all over here that's like, oh, why don't they put fish in there? That controls mosquitoes.
What
would happen? You tell me. What would happen if you put some koi fish in there?
You have to understand the family unit in China has the grandparents living with them. And
of course, it would be them that did it.
The grandparents destroy stuff, okay? Like, I'm not even kidding here. People that are like our parents-in-law age, they will go and start planting vegetables. And I'm not even joking about this. I've seen this happen where you've got the little like planters with all the flowers and stuff. They'll rip out flowers and start planting vegetables where they can. And if they see fish in there, they're going to catch them to eat them. That's it.
I'll one-up you.
What's that?
Okay, so that was a good rebuttal to that, right?
Yeah.
They said, I doubt anyone would eat minnows.
Joking me? Dude.
That's a good one. Now that's a good one.
Yeah.
You can go to the market and buy them.
You can buy minnows.
They eat tiny minnows inside of soups, bro.
Yeah, it's a thing.
What a wonderful song. How come I've never heard it before?
Edit, dude.
So bad.
We cannot laugh at this.
I can, because
It's...
they made like a cartoon speech bubble.
Not
One
very
dude
nice
came up to teach kindergarten when I was teaching at that kindergarten. He had cocaine on his nose. I had like Russian prostitutes in my class.
I've never met a sex pet that's like good to be around.
We snowboarded down Mount Everest or something. This guy's like a grown man. It's like he's in his 20s telling me that he and his friend died on the way down and stuff. And I'm like, really?
Almost singing. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind works